future updates coming, what he's working on, and how he feels about the Illuvium launch itself. So I'm very excited to get into all this information, keeping you up to date with all of the latest news at Illuvium. And today with me, I have a special guest. I have Sam Withers, good friend of the channel, and someone who's going to help keep me sane because I'm very tired right now. How's it going, man?
Good. The download is complete. No TSG. I feel like we're already off to a good start.
TSG is just gone. He's just abandoned us. No, but seriously, he is very busy right now for obvious reasons. So I'm looking forward to when he can join us again. But, I mean, we'll see when that is. We have no idea. So let's jump straight into it. We have a great leak here. Dimitri loves Buck, and he has no idea he can pick anything else. But this is a great visual. I know that people have started unlocking blueprints and things like that. But as far as I can tell, I don't think anyone's actually minted a blueprint onto the blockchain, which is really fascinating.
I did. I swear I saw something on Twitter or X that someone that did it, but then there were some other people that were trying to do it and was confused and couldn't figure it out. So that is not fully confirmed. So don't hold that to me. But I thought I saw one person attempt it. But
yeah. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if it's actually available yet because all the blueprints are somewhat made, but I don't think they're actually made the art for them all and stuff like that. And it has something to do with the 0-point transducer. It might need to be max level. It might need to be level 2 or 3. I don't know. I think Viper's trying to figure it out now, but I'm looking forward to when I can put skins on stuff. Like today even, I jumped in. I'm like, you know what? My team isn't total garbage, so I'm going to put together an Ascendant team. And I built a team. And there was just something satisfying about going to the Ascendant arena and using the Illuvials that you own to battle against an opponent, and you both kind of having half-assed teams. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to when skins and things are represented in there. Now, I don't know if this was a bug for me, but my Scoriox was not holo, which really disappointed me. He was just a regular old Scoriox. I'm like, what is this? So I hope that gets fixed soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when they upgrade Ascendant because it's not perfect, sure, but
yeah,
it's pretty good. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I know that you worked really hard getting that holo all the way through. I saw you leveling like 9 Furies or something at once, and it was quite funny for 6 hours on stream. But yeah, I've yet to play Ascendant because I don't have all the lower tiers Alluvials, and I think that's a bit of a barrier to entry there. But I haven't felt that feeling of going, here's my Alluvials in the overworld, here's the arena. How do I feel? Like I know I own these, like I see holos, I see my skins or battle boards or emotes. I haven't experienced that yet. There's obviously some things that haven't been done as well. So I want to know how you genuinely felt when you go, here's my Alluvials. Did it feel different? Then it's like being on-chain and off-chain, right? So how did you feel like genuine? Did it change your mindset? Like, oh, this feels special? Or was it just like, these are my Alluvials?
It did feel special, but not necessarily because these are my Alluvials. It was more, these are our Alluvials. So, like, I was playing against this opponent, and I don't know if he was a really good player or not, but he was giving it a good shot. I've heard of people just forfeiting to try and get the rewards and stuff, but he wasn't one of those players.
Right.
And he, like, drops, like, 4 fleeches, and I'm like, okay. Okay, like, this guy may be just a free-to-play player or something. And then all of a sudden, he drops a Titanor on the board, and this Titanor starts, like, taking me to town. Like, Scoriox cannot beat a Titanor. It's like its nemesis, basically.
There's very few of them, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what was so fascinating about it, is just these 5 fleeches doing their work and the Titanor at the front unkillable for some, because he got all these great augments for it. It was really funny. This Titanor is like destroying me. And I outscaled him a bit because I think Titanor was kind of the only ace in the hole he had. But that was the exciting thing. It was like, I don't know how he got the Titanor. I don't know if he bought it off someone. I don't know if he caught it. It doesn't really matter. He got it somehow, but he didn't get the other stuff that he needed to beat me. And at the same time, I got Scoriox myself, and I used that to help defeat him. I got some pretty good augments for it, and I had dust set up and stuff like that. So there was definitely a combination of my opponent doesn't have every Alluvial he needs. I don't have every Alluvial I need, but we both acquired these Alluvials somehow, and we're using them to battle each other. And it did actually feel pretty special. I think it'll feel more special once I'm going into ranked, and it'll feel even more special once I'm taking them into tournaments and things like that as well. But it was really interesting. I'm looking forward to the Leviathan stuff. I know that is Leviathan for the Ascendant mode. I haven't tried it yet, though.
Sorry, do you think that it would be better for Ascendant mode? Obviously, there's changes coming. That if you just had stage 3, that it should automatically count for stage 1 and 2, or you don't like that idea?
It would certainly make life easier,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit dull. I don't know. There's something about having to have the full collection that gives you a benefit, and I like that. But at the same time, I did run into the issue where I got my Scoriox and then I was going to go into battle Caveman. We had some other issues why we didn't do it. And I was like, shit, I don't have a Firiox anymore, so I can't actually use my Scoriox. And that was pretty annoying, but I think that's just up to the individual. Some might know already, I've actually built a collection tracker. So you can put in like your wallet and it shows you every Illuvium you own. So it makes it a little bit easier to see what you do and don't have. And you can also see which holos do I own, which dark holos do I own, and stuff like that. It's all really neat. And so I think that'll help, because that was the issue I had. I'm like, oh, I forgot I don't have a Firiox, you know? So, and all the third-party sites are building out these sort of tools as well. So it's going to get easier, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, the next one. So Dimitri said, at the end of each run, your substance that you collected gets analyzed. And if there is something, you get a message, meaning you contributed to the decoding. You get this code partially decoded thing. And what's interesting, and we'll find out very, very soon, is people contributed to the region unlock got their wallets and names listed. And the person who cracked the code gets access to the region first and can enjoy the peaceful discoveries for 6 hours. After 6 hours, it's open for everyone else, just like what we saw with the Abyssal Basin. That's kind of cool if they get first access to it. I get that's kind of a story beat, but I mean, it's not that interesting from a gameplay perspective. It's just kind of funny. But if like a streamer got early access to it, that is pretty funny. And if I was that person, I would definitely jump straight on stream and I would start streaming it. And I would look for all the lore clues because I'm the only one that can find them now. And no one else can find them for 6 hours. And so I'm like the first person to uncover them and show them with people. That's kind of cool. But like, it's not that big of a deal. So it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, I think the 6 hour thing is a bit of a gimmick, but it would have been cool if, say, there was certain alluvials only in their certain regions, but obviously, you know, we're in beta in a way and we're testing things out and everything else. So I felt like that would be a cool feature if there was like multiplayer and all these other things, but maybe that will matter in region 4, 5, 6, or 7 when it's a bit more meaningful. And then I saw it sold on the marketplace for, I think, 0.8 of an ETH or something. I think Beal sold it for $2,000-ish, I think. I was going to offer 1 ETH, but he already sold it, and I didn't get to it in time. I don't know if it's just like a valuable collector thing. And congrats to Beal for opening it up. I didn't do any of it. Did you ever unlock a code or anything?
No, I didn't manage it. We find out more. They've talked about how they unlock and stuff in some of my notes here, so we'll go over it very soon. But I think what would have made it all really interesting is they do it a little bit in the movie, but it mostly happens in the book. I don't know if you've seen Ready Player One, the movie.
Yeah, too many times.
Yeah, well, basically at the end of that movie, when everyone's destroyed or whatever, or in the book, it's a little bit more detailed, but basically when he's going through the final challenge, it automatically opens up a vid feed of him doing the challenge to every single person in the universe. That is what we needed. We needed like, this person gets access to this region for 6 hours, and now everyone can watch them through like an in-game giant screen in the sky or something like that. Yeah. And everyone can watch him explore this region while they're playing in the game. As I said, it would be more interesting if a streamer got it because then they could stream it and stuff. Yeah. But this is the real way to do it, where everyone becomes a streamer inside this game in some way, or you can like follow them around as a ghost or something. Yeah. It's that sort of thing that makes this sort of mechanism really interesting. Without it, it's a little bit gimmicky. I kind of like it, but yeah.
Do you think I think the Frost place is next, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever the next region is, not after these 3, but the 4th one where no one has been yet. Do you think it would be cool if we had spectator mode, if there was like a live stream on the Illuvium website where whoever unlocks it for the 6 hours or however long they choose, where we get to see that via the Illuvium website so we can follow him around and go, what's he finding, what's he doing? I think that'll be pretty cool if that's doable.
I'd be highly doubtful that that's doable or easy to do. But if it was, then yeah, that would be really, really cool. I have no idea what's going to be next. I know Tiger Boreal and Halcyon Sea are both the ones that are nearing completion. Which order they come in is anyone's guess. I hope Tiger's next, but I have a feeling it's going to be Halcyon. But
I
we'll
saw
see.
on the launch party that one of the designers said it was Tiger Boreal, that all focuses on that right now. So I think that is the next one, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but they might have, as far as I'm aware, they might have actually finished Halcyon Sea before they're finishing up Tiger Boreal. Halcyon Sea might be basically ready, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, fair.
Like, that's kind of the vibes I've gotten in the past, but you're right, they've shown a lot more of Tiger, so we'll see.
Yeah, time will tell.
All right, so the next one we got here is Nick talking about how the burning overhead of SRV2 fuel crates are bringing in some revenue while the game is still being fleshed out. Playing the game with this in mind, progressing now ahead of new features and major updates is how he's viewing the current launch cycle of Illuvium. He'd also love a new roadmap for each of the products with some beautiful concept art. And what we're not doing right now is telling much of a story about what's to come. Obviously, there is a lot to come in the future. It's simply the game is here, but there's not much narrative surrounding it as what to come. Gamers and even more so RPG players want to know they're getting ahead of the curve before other things come in the future. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that. I think the RPG elements people are really excited for as well. So I can't wait. There's a whole lot of new stuff. I will make a video at some point. Hey Jeff, how's it going, man?
I do want to mention, especially with a lot of people out there, we already know what the sort of pain points are, especially within the community, but I do realize, like, people think that you launch a game, then most of your money's made at the start, and then it sort of dwindles off, and then you don't really have enough revenue to keep going. I think in Illuvium's case, it's going to be quite different. We have fuel crates, we have SILV2 that we need to burn, which we already all knew, which is giving players basically free money to utilize it, and we're losing money from the DAO perspective. But the game's not polished or finished, so I don't think this is an issue. The way I see it, I don't know how you see it, but sure, we're going to have this lull period around the next couple of weeks, maybe even 1 or 2 months, where we're testing out this marketing strategy where, you know, they might be doing a few ads here and there on a low cost just to get there, see what the cost per acquisition would be. And then on top of that, you'll see things like not enough features in there. Like there's no alluvials in the, you know, Gauntlet Leviathan. I think that people need to sort of take a step back here and go, okay, this is what we got to play right now. We're testing it all out still. We're getting the data in. And then say in a month's time when there's use cases for these alluvials, I feel like people will realize, okay, we can sort of find that what is the median of all these alluvials costs, and then they can work out what's a net positive run or a net negative. And I find that the community is just a bit eager, I would say. Let the team do its thing. If they had these features ready, they would have put them in the game. Where they don't, they know all the problems. The fuel price is high. We all know why. We know how to fix these things. It's going to happen over time when the land plots come out. So I really hope people see the vision of, yes, people are coming in, these new players, and they might leave. But as soon as we input alluvial combat or questing or anything like that, like everyone's going to blast it over socials, and there'll be, you know, ads and bringing TFT players in. People are going to be like, oh, I played that game, I'm going to come back. And then more players are going to come in to see this alluvial combat down the line. So I don't know why people are stressing. I think they are stressing a little bit too much, but everyone just needs to relax, in my opinion. Anyways, a bit of a tangent, but we'll keep going.
No, I was going to talk on the same line. Just quickly, I'll answer this. When will fuel go down in my estimate? Kind of too expensive right now. Personally speaking, on my tier 3, I'm just hitting Nexus 7. I think I am a bit ahead of the curve there. But I expect T4s and T3s to start outputting insane amounts of fuel over the next week or so. And so after about a week from now, I think fuel prices will start to come down. But on your point, I think you're right. We've had an initial launch, but we do have one more chance for another launch cycle. And like you said, multiplayer and overworld combat will make the game feel completely different to what it is now. The problem, well, the good and the bad here is that we now have several months to fix all of the issues that we're facing right now. The big one is that from what I'm hearing really mixed criticism, but it's really fascinating where I don't think people hate the actual prices themselves, but they hate the frequency of payments and how unfriendly that is to typical players of video games and things like that. And I never really thought about that as much depth as I had previously. We've mostly dealt with things like travel. We've mostly talked about travel prices in the past, but we haven't really discussed other things. And to be fair, it's only been the past 2 months or so where we've added prices to things like fusing. We've added prices to things like a whole lot of crafting weapons and that sort of stuff. And so I think if we can condense all that or hide it away, that is what we need to do before overworld combat, and we're set. Maybe we only have the one big transaction, which is you pay when you travel, or you have the one big transaction where you pay for a shard. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the answer is, but I think it needs to be simplified and easier to grasp for anyone before alluvial combat. That's my hope. Once that's done, I think we're set.
Yeah, I think we should unpack this. I don't know what you've got on the schedule for the whole show or whatever, but I think I don't know. Like, they have the data, right? We don't have the data right now. We know there's about 13,000 wallets. I don't know what the daily active users are, but I know the stickiness and the retention is really, really good. Like, I worked out the what people are spending per person, and it's through the roof. Like, it destroys Web 2. And as much as we want to say, yeah, fuel prices are high, and I personally know, and I think like they might go down by 50% in the coming weeks and months because more land will come online. You know, there'll be wallets that are doing scholarships and everything else, or rental sort of ideas. But I think there'll be that equilibrium, like balance in the whole ecosystem, and we need to give it time. There's no point, like, we have marketing money. We're not spending it now because there's no point, right? Like, people will come in and be like, oh, I got to spend even more money. It's confusing. It's just not the right time. Let the bugs come out. Let the fuel system, like you thought of, let them figure it out. Let's see the data. What are people hating? What are they loving? How do we put this in? What does the community want? And then say they implement this over the next month or two. You can buy fuel in game. Like, when you click passport at the front of the game, it doesn't take you to a website. It's built in the client. All these little things that will make the experience better. And then you go out and target all these influencers and marketing ads in 2 months' time, and maybe alluvial combat, or even if it's a little bit longer, that's okay. We still have 14, 15 months of runway. And I don't see the concerns here other than, wow, look, we're actually pulling in a bunch of revenue. We're doing more revenue than Render. And Render's a $2.5 billion evaluation. I think it was Jag or someone that bought that up. So I honestly believe we're in a really good position. Numbers are going up. They have the data. Some people will love and hate certain things, and we'll see how it plays out. I could be wrong, but it's an addictive game. Like, I remember the first 2-3 days of playing Illuvium, I was like, holy crap. Like, this is like the pokies, or like gambling in a way with the degen, but it's a game. It's never been done before. And I'm like, I just don't see myself going back to other games where I don't have ownership, or I don't have this stickiness. Like, I wanted to play. So that's my personal opinion anyway.
Yeah, the people that are already here are loving it. They're greatly addicted to it. They enjoy it. I can see myself playing at least 1 or 2 runs a day every single day for the next 2-3 years. You know, I can easily see that. I mean, that's more because I don't have time, and maybe I would play more, but I'm more of a play a little bit of different games here and there. And I think you're right. We are missing a little bit of that what's drawing people in sort of factor. And I think overworld combat will really help that. Obviously, Palworld's virality says a lot about that sort of gameplay style. And so I'm looking forward to those elements coming in. Even things like a battle royale, people love to come in for a battle royale. If it's free to play, it will draw in so many different people. So there's all those sorts of drawing in people elements that we haven't really quite fleshed out yet. But all of the things for people to fall in love with the IP are starting to get polished and set up now. And I think it's addictive for people who are inside the core gameplay loop. Getting them in here is relatively tricky, and we got to figure that out. But we'll move on, and maybe we'll talk about the whole fuel thing at the very end as well. But yeah, Bracelet, what you said, ILV is doing more revenue than Render. I'm surprised Render is doing so little, to be honest, but that's interesting. The next one is on this address, you can actually see the fuel revenue. I'll bring that up.
Like, and people are still paying. Otherwise, fuel prices would go down. Like, people are still spending, what is it, $213,000 in 6 days. Crazy. So
$213,000 in Ethereum has come in, and $80,000 in SRV2, which is not too shabby at all. And yeah, so as we get more players, it'll definitely be interesting to see how this develops over time. Obviously, we have the outcome where maybe players start spending less over time because they've caught everything, but people haven't caught everything yet, so who knows? But I think this looks really healthy, and this doesn't even include... I don't think it includes. It might include. I'm not sure if it includes things like emotes and stuff that have been purchased. And I bought a lot of emotes, by the way. I freaking love those things. If you guys haven't bought emotes yet, they're really cool, and there are so many different ones. I got one that's like a Hulk Malura, and he's doing like the Hulk pose. It's sick. All right.
Can you use the emotes and battle boards in Ascendant yet, or is that coming soon?
I think so. I forgot to actually equip it when I played my game. I'm going to try that straight after this, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If anyone in chat knows, let us know, guys. All right. So the other thing is Johnny has said here, he agrees that this should be an area of focus, which I think he's talking about arena tournaments, ladders, and things like that. And he wants to understand that you can't just move 100 staff to focus on arena and expect that makes a 12-week turnaround become a 2-week turnaround, which is, one thing that people in the chat don't tend to understand that well. But it's also clear that not only the only thing that can be done, adding a bunch of cool quests and multiplayer to Overworld would probably have a much more dramatic effect. See, there's so many things they can add in the near future that are going to be really, really awesome.
Yeah, I think, sorry, just to go back to that filth, the ETH intake, like people are like, oh, we're not even covering costs. In what world do you cover costs in the first month of a business? Like you lose, when you start a business, you lose for many, many years money. Like Netflix was in the hole like $80 billion or something stupid. I don't know the number, but that people expecting all this like boom moment, all this, oh, we go to 1,000 ILV per token or whatever it is. Like give it time. Imagine a world, just picture the vision of, there's rating at the end of your run or some rating sort of system. You get to play with friends. There's a quest line. There's a story line. All the bugs are fixed. There's ascendant leaderboard arenas. Everyone's winning like ILV and they're competing. And then there's this influx of more players of TFT and Overworld. And like that's within probably 6 months, if I'm very honest with you, or a lot of it is within the next sort of 2-3 months. But if you just picture a world like that, because that's what it's going to be, then I can't see myself playing any other game because everything I want is in one game. And then the fuel prices will drop and everything else. So if you guys believe in that vision in the team that they'll deliver that, then I don't know why everyone just needs to relax again. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all about retention too, which is quite funny. It's like you can either get 1 million players on day one and then 990,000 of them leave, or you can start off with 10,000 players and add 1,000 players every week. But those 1,000 players that came every week don't ever leave. And so now you're slowly growing to 1 million players, but these players are playing every single day. You know what I mean? And I think what's been interesting around the Twitter circles and from what Kieran has said, and we'll see in a minute, but Illuvium Zero has the highest play time out of all 3 games by far.
Crazy. The dark horse.
I think the free-to-play players are really loving it as well. And the funny thing is, many people in my chats and stuff will probably say this is why, but I don't actually think it's got anything to do with it being on mobile. I think people are just enjoying it. People love a game where they can just play a few minutes every day and stuff like that. You know, like, I don't know. I reckon it's got that, you got a reason to keep coming back and playing over and over again. It's a little bit less like that in Overworld, you know? It's
I want to see the data of it. I would love to see the data. Like, imagine the retention. Like, even if there is only, say, there's 13,000 wallets or something, and say, I don't know, 5,000 are playing, 4,000 or whatever the retention, like, if the retention is high and the numbers are good, like there's nothing to worry about. With Illuvium Zero, that sort of, I guess, it was a bit mind-boggling that has like really good numbers or whatever. But you don't think it is mobile, whereas I sort of think it is because most Web3 players are mobile, I think, in my opinion, and there's not many PC. But I think, imagine if we put more resources to Illuvium Zero and see how that was fleshed out.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of chat on this today, so we will get to that very soon. So the next one is, Aaron said you will never get back what you lost, but you can now decide what to believe. I have no idea what this is to do. And yes, over time, more info about stuff revealed. It might just understanding. And remember, it will only affect the missions and quests you get. This is as far as the factions go, and you can change your faction at any time. It's a fun story that lets you understand who you are in the game, and later absolutely will add fun stuff, faction wars, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to how they flesh out all the stuff from here. And yeah, it's been really exciting to see kind of how the law's evolving. I haven't really been keeping up to it heaps myself because I'm not a big story guy, but I do want to get more into it. How's it going, Kev?
Yeah, it should be good.
So the other thing Aaron says is when your drone decodes the message, it doesn't get all the data. It misses out the video because we didn't want to spend money on recording the video yet. Eventually, you might see a video from these files, but it won't contain more info than what we've learned from those little rods that are found around the maps. And the other thing is that as far as the lore comes, it will come. And if Aaron gave us the backstory of everything, then there would be nothing left to discover. You can change your faction at any time, like I said before. And it's what do you believe about the world? And it flavors the types of missions you get, which I didn't realize. And I don't know if this is related to the airdrop missions, but if it is, that's interesting as well. And trust me, you'll want to let it come naturally over time. Let the story evolve on you. I'll have to do a video breaking down a lot of the story points. Okay. Actually, that would be a really fun video. I might do that tomorrow. I might make that my mission. Okay. Don't give me that. That sounds fun.
No, please do it.
All right, so this one is really, really good here, okay? So he talks about the factions lore. Celestials, they're devotees of light, and they view the interstellar journey as a divine trial, with Illuvium as their prophesized paradise and ultimate reward. So it's basically Jerusalem. The Celestials interpret ancient data as sacred scripts, blending technology and faith for their quest for the promised world. So what Aaron was saying before is these four factions, the thing that binds them together is they all view Illuvium itself as something different from all of their viewpoints, which is a really fascinating way to build out a world in general. The Sojourner Cosmic Archivists, who believe in the eternal cycle of universes, they see themselves as living records, gathering and preserving wisdom to enrich the universal memory. They approach for new discoveries a vital piece of cosmic understanding to be carefully documented for future cycles. The Adaptum are a clandestine order of skilled navigators, explorers, and they work covertly to protect their people from perceived threats, subtly influencing the course of their civilization's journey. And the Aetherborn are fervent believers in a cosmic order that has chosen them for a greater purpose. So really cool backstory of the four things there. You can go check it out for yourself at some point. Kaibo, excellent point here. We need rewards for Arena and have Arena on mobile. Okay, I think Arena on mobile is more important than rewards for Arena. I think Gauntlet on mobile is most important out of them all. I think that's way more accessible on mobile. Arena, much less so. But I have no idea how much work it actually takes to get Arena onto mobile. Like, do you think it would be insane, man?
I think it's planned for next year, right? And I think they were looking at a team or a third party to start doing it. I mean, it depends on resources and costs and everything else. But I think, to be honest, I think rewards for Gauntlet Leviathan is one thing. We need alluvial use cases, which is just around the corner. But Arena for mobile, yeah, it's on the roadmap. Like, everything is a yes. Yes to everything.
So the next one we've got here is, like I said before, anyone that gets a decoding success message will get an NFT. So I think that makes it sound like those 9 wallets that help decode it are all going to get an NFT. Do you know what those individual NFTs look like? Have we seen them?
I haven't seen an image of them, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So Aaron also says that when you finish a run, your drone will analyze the substance you collected, and it will try to find a very big number, like mining on the blockchain. If it finds it, then you get a key. The person who gets the 36th key unlocks the region, and everyone gets an NFT. Very, very cool.
Interesting.
So the other thing is we'll also have a new feature soon that will make it more enjoyable, which I think is referring to Gauntlet and or Ascendant. Where they front loaded a lot of work, so that was smart. The bad thing was that we had to pivot on many things. So there's some good and some bad, but not even close to all. There is a lot coming to enhance all the different Arena experiences. And honestly, as someone who's about to get way more into Ascendant, I'm really looking forward to that myself.
I mean, you played with your alluvial, so I guess you know how it feels if you're just doing 1v1 instead of an 8-round robin. I wouldn't even mind, like, I know TFT does 8 people. I wouldn't even mind changing that to 6, so that way there's less queues and I feel like the game won't go as long, but that's probably a personal opinion thing. But I think also on top of that, with the alluvials and what's coming and everything else, I hate being a sort of a broken record, but all of these things are coming. It shouldn't be too far away. But my question is to you is, would you like to see nothing happen for, say, a month, right? Where, like, they're churning in the back and they're not doing super updates and they're just figuring everything out. And then, like, in a month or 2 months' time, they just come out with Alluvial Combat, Gauntlet, like everything, just a big update out of nowhere and multiplayer or something? Or would you rather these incrementals, like, hey, in a week's time, there's an update and then maybe something little as well on top of that?
You want to try and have what the large studios do and the really successful games is they have to find a way to refresh their game often. Now,
Fortnite's a great example of that. Every 3 months or something, right?
Yeah, Fortnite's a great example. But I'm talking about they do it even more often than that. So, like, League of Legends will release 3 or 4 champions a year. So that's 3 or 4 months knocked out. They'll have major patches or a major map overhaul once or twice a year as well. And then smaller patches littered throughout as well. So every single month, there's a bunch of meta shifts That actually completely changes who you play in the game, the way you play. And obviously, most of it's like balancing and balance adjustments, and new champions kind of shake up the game as well. But it keeps the thing really fresh, and it keeps new things to do and stuff like that. So I would say if you have 10 updates planned, try and get 12 updates planned and try and have one hit every single month. It keeps it so much more engaging. The beauty is that I'm assuming the last 4 regions are all close to completion. And so we've got 4 of those months knocked out already. Okay. Then we have Overworld Combat, which is the 5th month. We've got Gauntlet ranked leaderboards, which is really the only thing Gauntlet's missing. That knocks out another month. We've got Illuvium Beyond Wave 3, which knocks out another month. So we've got about 7 or 8 events already planned that are going to keep the game really fresh and engaging. It's really just the systemic things that need to be fixed more on the ASAP side of stuff, like we were talking about with the fuel and things like that. So it's a bit interesting.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, get on to the next one. All right. So Dimitri said that he can't wait to see when we start selling fuel to the market and watch the supply and demand price adjustments start to take effect, which I think is not that far away. As I just said, I'm about to hit Nexus 7. I'm building 50 more buildings on my land. I must be one of the only people that rushed Nexus 7. Anyone who didn't is a fool, but that's okay. You guys will learn. I'll make videos. I'll show you guys. I'll show you what it's about. But
I don't think... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm about to start producing so much fuel.
Yeah, well, I'd love to know what, like, if you ever make a video, how much does tier 1 make end game, tier 2 end game, 3 and 4? It would be really helpful. I think I saw last thing with Viper, he was at 2,700 fuel per day, and it was still increasing. But I think there's barely anyone playing their land plots. Whether there's scholarships that haven't been started, I think it's very low. So it's going to be interesting in about a month or 2 when it all comes online, scholarships and everything else, and then fuel will just drop. And then there'll be this really cool balancing act between the landholders and the overworld players of where, like, you're sort of seeing now, like I've seen it go from like 0.0087, 0.0083, 0.0085. Like, these are very small adjustments right now, but it's going to be exciting to see when there's more of the ecosystem online. I think it's going to be super fun.
The grand question here, the big unanswered question is, let's say fuel does drop like 80%. I have no idea what the lower threshold is, or even if there is one. I've lost track on that now.
No, there isn't one.
But let's say it drops 80, 90%. Will a lot more players come in? And I think that's the golden question, because I'm not sure they will. As far as the criticism I'm seeing, the price is somewhat of an issue, but it's more the structure of how the game is set up that people just don't enjoy, and they're staying away from it. So if we could fix that structure and then the price drops, I think that would be really exciting. So hopefully.
Even if the prices drop drastically, that means all of your assets become less and less valuable as well. Like, you'll see all the alluvials drop in price. You'll see the rare shards even go lower. So there has to be some sort of give and take, I feel, in the pricing structure. And I don't think it'll bring more people in. If anything, it'll just bring maybe more bots in or something like crazy. I think you're exactly right. I don't know if people like the idea of continually playing for these fuel runs. But again, they've got the data. They'll figure it out. They've got economists. They'll know exactly what to do. They're a lot smarter than us at this. They will know, and we just have to trust the team.
Yeah, I think the competitive side of things will change up stuff as well. Like, if we throw like a huge Leviathan tournament and top prize is like $100,000, that's the ultimate testament, because really the only way to get fantastic stat alluvials for cheap will be to just go in and adventure in the overworld a ton and stuff like that. And that's kind of the missing piece here, is there's not really a reason to go and capture your own alluvials besides buying them off the market. And there's not enough players to really service that supply yet. And so we really need a reason to want to own a lot of alluvials, and we don't have the competitions of the esports side of things to support that yet. I know I've said that it doesn't really matter that much in the past, and clearly I was mostly wrong here. But I'm looking forward to what they do with Arena. Let me just put it that way. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So the other comment here is actually really funny. It's from Grant. He says, if you type God mode into overworld chat, you won't lose any more battles. And Cucked will mint you 100 cookers to sell in the marketplace for instant profit. That should make things fun again. I think we should add that to the game. I'll get the IOP underway. Okay, so Kieran... All right. many of you might not know about this whole dynamic survival mode thing. But basically, in the survival mode right now, if you hit wave 40, you get 1 million points. And you can do that over and over and over again for some reason. No, you can't. I think you can do that once, but you can make like 100 accounts, right?
Yes.
And the issue is that not only can you do it for free, but since all the survival modes the same every day, you can just copy a content creator and get to wave 40 easily. And so there are many concerns. Basically, my biggest concern is it's probably just diluted and fucked the entire airdrop pool. But that's just me. Anyways, Kieran addresses it here, where we can't figure out who cheated and who didn't cheat. Apparently, Monarch had a bug, so it was actually really easy to beat because you could like break the game basically. So unfortunately, we need to invalidate all points for survival mode. It's not the best solution, but it's the best way to keep it fair. He wants to stress that this is no one's fault. You can't get angry at people for exploiting it. We need to be better in the future to ensure these avenues aren't available for people to game the system. And he says, sorry, it's the team's fault and it's not the community's fault, which I think is good. It's good to see him apologizing. And I think he has recognized this, but people in the community have said, yeah, there's a lot of people that told you this was going to happen many days before the launch of the game. I'm pretty sure we brought it up in the AMA as well. So,
yeah, not much really to add to that. So, yeah, they've taken responsibility and it shouldn't have happened.
All right. I think this is where I'm up to. Oh, no, I broke it. Oh, no, that was a really good one. Hold on.
Also, in regards to survival, why Scoriox brings up whatever he's broken, is that I think in the future it's going to be, instead of it's going to be the same thing for everyone, everyone's going to get different cards. I don't know what you call it, but there's some sort of wording that someone told me today where survival mode, yeah, there you go. It'll be different for everyone, so which is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's part of the IOP. I think that makes it a lot more fun. That's why I'm a fan of it. It makes it harder to do content around it because you can't just show someone the answer to a puzzle, essentially.
Yeah,
but I think it makes for more fun content. Teaching people how to actually play the game could be really cool. But just my opinion there. All right, so this one here is great. Kieran actually goes on doodling some ideas for Illuvium Zero. This is a big part of today's stream. You guys really want to listen to this one. The Stat Roller, a re-roll server. So basically building a land where people can come and re-roll the stats for their alluvials. Passive plant collection. Plant harvesting service to other players. I don't know what that's helpful for, but that sounds pretty cool. Fuel-powered competitions. I think this sounds really awesome. We know the tier 5 lands are going to have giant arenas on them. But what if there's even more, or even like a wagering pool or something? I think that could be really, really cool. Trading gyms, which have been talked about to death but at this point, where you can train and level up your alluvials on someone's land. Revival stations. So they don't actually have alluvial death or fainting in the game yet. But if they ever brought that back, this would be a good way to deal with it. Alchemy Center, where landholders can offer a service for burning alluvials, alluvatars, and accessories to create augments and all sorts of stuff, and integration with the overworld and arena. So none of these are guaranteed or in the game by any means. But I do like, and I think this is the right way to approach Illuvium Zero, is making it a hub for facilities and things like that. Overworld is a hub for capturing and minting alluvials. Illuvium Zero is a hub for automated overworld runs and alluvial leveling up and alluvial burning and stat rerolls and all the facilities related to alluvials. Now, you make it an easy front end for people where they just go, I want to do this, and it chooses the best land for them to do it. Make it easy for people, but still, I really like that. I like the focus of adding utility to land rather than actually just trying to bump up how much revenue they make off the bat, So I think it adds a lot more to the overall ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it's some really cool ideas in there. We'll see what the community likes. And I wish Illuvium would do this more where, say they don't have an answer or they've got some ideas, is just bring it to the community, do a poll on Twitter or Discord and be like, hey guys, we're thinking of putting these 4 in. What do you guys think? And then whatever leads the charge, let's go with that because that's what the core community wants. So I hope in the future that Illuvium sort of brings that more social interaction. So that way the players' voices can be heard. Like, hey guys, what do you think about missions? Like, give us your full feedback and we'll listen to all of it, and just have one person go through all the jargon and be like, okay, we know what the community wants. We're listening, even though they probably listen more so than any other Web3 game. I think that'd be even a really nice touch to put towards it. But I really do like the idea of the Alchemy Center of burning the alluvials. Like if you go through people's inventories right now in the overworld, there's just a lot of crap everywhere. And I'm OCD, so I like having clean things. I like to clean it all up. So if you could just send that somewhere and whatever you can get out of it and burn it all, I think that's one, it's good for the ecosystem. And I feel like it also is, burning alluvials or anything else is also a positive in the right direction again.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to with the Illuvium ecosystem. I do hope that we do like a giant capital raise soon and just put everyone's minds at ease, because I think Illuvium hits its stride after game 4 and especially after game 5. That's where it starts to get interesting. And so I hope we just like secure that future sooner rather than later and then go from there.
If the team can lock in 5 years runway, they have to do off the numbers they're getting now. So obviously, I don't know how hard or difficult that will be, depending on retention rate, stickiness, and so many other factors. And then if VCs want to buy into that, that's like at least a $50 to $100 million raise. And then if there's $5 million in the bank, then there's a lot less stress on the whole department and also the community, knowing the game's going nowhere. And fingers crossed they can do that over the next sort of 3 to 6 months. That'll be super, super good.
Yeah, but I think the other thing is, do we or don't we get a bull run, right? I think everyone's hoping for end of this year, start of next year, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter, but everything looks so different in a bull run. Tokens go up for no reason. Tokens go crazy. And then we also have things like people invest capital at different scales and different rates. And everything just looks so different. I know Kieran's really good at a bull run. So I hope if we have a bull run, Illuvium uses every single opportunity possible at that time. So hopefully.
People have extra capital and they buy dumb things. Right now, retail is not in crypto. I've been in crypto for 8 years. I say that so many times. And I bought Solana at 80 cents. I bought Luna at 20 cents, all these things, right? And I feel like when there's a bull run, people just have so much excess capital that they just buy anything and everything. And Illuvium still has the token, so that can still go up in price. But then once people learn about revenue distribution, that's sort of like, oh, wow, this is a whole nother level of what can happen in an ecosystem or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's getting really interesting. So this next one is a really big topic. And he's Fight for ETH asks, when can we expect debit cards to be available for deposit? Kieran says, we're discussing it with a couple of providers. The biggest thing is security. If something goes wrong, we need to be covered for chargebacks. Now, it's no secret that credit card on-ramps and things are rare in the crypto space. They are really, really rare. And there's a good reason for that. Not only is it hard to get a credit card provider, an on-ramp provider, to want to work with you because you're a crypto project, but your own security is really difficult because blockchain transactions are irreversible. Credit card transactions are different. They are somewhat reversible. And so what happens if I use a credit card to buy some Ethereum and now I go, oh crap, I didn't get my Ethereum. Or maybe it got sent somewhere, but it didn't get sent to my wallet. Illuvium has no power to reverse that or fix that or get legal authorities to go and claim that Ethereum. There's no power there. There's nothing there to reverse on Illuvium's side. And so you need security and insurance and everything to fix that and prevent that. Now, I'm talking out my ass a little bit. I don't know this stuff that well. But that's kind of how I see it, is these two systems don't collide all that great. It's really tricky. And that's why something like MoonPay is so powerful. It's because MoonPay works with IMX. And so that's out of Illuvium's hands. We don't have to deal with any of that security side of shit. MoonPay has to deal with all that and do all that. And so it's good working with someone like them who are doing all the on-ramp debit card stuff. Instead of doing it yourself, it's a whole different situation. It's quite scary, honestly. And I'm not shocked it hasn't been done yet. I know it's important to do it, but I'm not shocked it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, I would love to see. I think MoonPay just needs to be activated. I think that's sort of step one. I don't think people can actually use it right now, can they?
They can. I think certain countries are having issues is the big thing, and certain banks have issues. Even I've had my fair share of issues. So it's just unreliable as far as I'm aware, and maybe the USA has a lot of trouble in particular.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think it is a difficult thing, and hopefully they can solve it eventually, because that would be just easier onboarding, right?
So this one's exciting. Kieran says we will start showing off the marketing revenue numbers once we are a couple of weeks in. It's been 3 days and it's easy for people to twist the narrative. 100% agree. Trust me, all I want to do is start sharing numbers, but we need to be strategic. Yep, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I keep trying to find hidden things, and like you look at the wallets and you work it all out, like spend per head and stuff. But yeah, I can't wait for the numbers. I just want to see DAUs and retention rates and stuff like that. So super excited for that.
I have a lot of the data to get DAU now, so I might build a script that does that.
What do you think as an estimate of what do you reckon the daily active users are?
I think it's similar to testnet, probably 6,000 or 7,000.
Okay, so we have 13,000 wallets. You think nearly 50% is still, or more than 50% is playing every day?
Yeah, I could say that.
I think higher, but we'll see.
I think what's the stat I actually want to look at is what's DAU of free to play and DAU of pay to play players. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think. What would you be happy with how many people are spending? What would you be like? What percentage? Say there's, I don't know. Say there's, if it's just a round number, 10,000 players. How many would you love to see that's spending?
Oh, I think if there's 10,000 players, I think at least 10% spending is quite high. In any game, 10% spending is high. I personally am expecting closer to 20 to 30%.
Okay, interesting. Leave it at that.
You're funny. All right, so this is a really interesting one here. Is Kieran's frustration is with people saying they tried to tell them, but they wouldn't listen, which he claims is not what happened. They explained how the system works, and the council agreed on the pricing. Again, it's been 6 hours. Give it some time. This is a while back. And also, rewards will be distributed really soon. They're weeding out the last of the cheaters at the moment. It's important to get the security stuff right. There's nothing that's a better deterrent to cheaters in the system than them failing to get profit from those cheating. Like, if you do manage to weed them all out, then they're going to be like, do we risk cheating again if they're probably going to weed us out again? You know what I mean? So, but if they get through, they're going to be like, oh, we're definitely doing it again. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to get it right.
And ILV going to the right people as well. Remember that. Like if ILV is going to players and distributing the right people, like sure, they might sell some, but they're more likely to stake a hold onto it because they like the project. So all positive there.
Absolutely right, Illuvium Gamer. It's about how much you own, not what the token price is. Okay, so here is a leak from Jeremy. Claim your items. So you can claim all this stuff, I think, from buying different merch and things like that. And you got the bronze border and stuff like that. Christmas promotion, all that sort of thing. So very exciting to see this screen. I can't wait.
Soon.
I can't wait. Soon, always soon. Okay, as we quickly look through some of the announcements, we had region travel opening because this episode launched. The last episode was just before the launch, like several hours before the launch. So the region travel opened. There was an Illuvium update with Illuvium Zero patch 1.0.2. Basically fixed a bunch of bugs, if I remember rightly. And there also were an issue where some of the stuff wasn't minted, but it sounds like they've fixed that pretty quickly. I haven't heard anyone complain about that in quite some time. They're also excited to announce that the counts for both pre-seasons is nearly complete. They're aiming to distribute very soon. And they've got a fix coming and manual minting and things like that for failed transactions. So it looks like they've fixed a bunch of those issues. These announcements are a good testament to how fast the team is working to patch through all these bugs. It sounds like a lot of the big bugs are basically done, and it's all the smaller bugs they're fixing up now. And then once that's done, we get onto new features. Very high. Yeah. Very, very high.
Can I just say, name another game that I think they've deployed 3 patches already, and it's been 6 days. Name another game that has deployed even 1 patch in a week from like launch. Like it doesn't happen. It's very rare. This team knows what they're doing. It's good.
It took a while to get started. I think early days, the team was kind of like floundering a little bit and didn't get everything done perfectly. Yeah. But they're in a really good place right now. I'm glad to see it. So Illuvium Zero patch 1.0.3 was yesterday. This was an awesome patch, fixed a lot of awesome things. There's one change I don't love. But besides that, they're all really, really good changes.
What is it? What don't you like?
You can get a benefit from converters now.
Okay.
From conversion. So you can turn like...
Cry tomorrow. You can cry tomorrow.
You can convert 10 Solon into 11 Hyperion, for example, which you couldn't do before.
Okay.
Arena patch deployment. I have no idea what that's about.
Another patch.
I think they just fixed a bunch of bugs. Patch deployment complete for that arena patch. Epoch 10 governance election started a couple hours ago.
Are you nominating yourself? Are you going again?
I don't know, man. I'm so
I'll
tired.
vote for you because I want you there. Because, well, I just do. You're very good at it.
I should, but I'm tired. I'm so tired.
I vote for you.
Oh, should I go for IMC again?
Whatever, I'll vote for you either way. I like you, and there's a community one. I haven't kept up to date with it. But Paz, like, he's passionate about the game. Like, why would you not? Like, I see him streaming every day. Like, these are the people you want in the council. So I don't know if it's IMC or whatever else. I'm not really all over it anymore. But yeah, you two need to be still in it. So
yeah, so 3-day IMC voting period later on, and then all the rest of it. So yep, looking forward to that. Ongoing proposals, 6 different ongoing proposals being voted on, discussed. Yeah, I had to vote on so many proposals the other day. I basically took like a mini hiatus from like social media. Took like a mini socials nap, and then I like come back and there's like shitstorms everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And so I'm back up to speed with everything, thankfully. Good. But yes, so elections are soon. Please vote for me. Also, don't forget to use my referral code Scoriox in the profile settings of the game when you get the chance, or you can use code SAM for this guy right here.
Just use Scoriox. Don't use mine, please. Thank you.
I really loved how you chose Sam for your code, though. That's great.
I'm not going to promote it. I just wanted the name Sam, so I put it on one post. And yeah, I think people need to support yourself and the other creators more so than people like me.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been fun. I've actually had quite a few people support me now. So I'm grinding out the videos. I'm noticing that like every video I put out, I'm getting more people. So clearly it's doing something. Okay, so that's the dynamic survival mode stuff. All right. So this proposal we should probably talk about quickly. Streamlining the onboarding experience for new Illuvium players. This is very simple. Right now, when you get into the game, you see all the lore and cinematic and stuff before you get to do anything else in the game. Although I love this, I think you should have the option to play the arena without going through this, like this proposal suggests. And so I think it's a fine change. Basically, you go into the game, you pick arena or overworld. If you pick overworld, you get all your cinematic and stuff. If you pick arena, you get to play arena. And like one of the biggest demographics we're going to be streaming with is going to be TFT creators and stuff like that. And we don't want people coming in to try out Gauntlet off the bat and then running into all this other stuff. So I think this is good.
Yeah, and then if you click arena, would you still do the tutorial or something for that, or would you skip that?
I have no idea.
I mean, I like the idea. Like, it's a small change. So yeah, that's super fun, I think. It's not an issue.
All right, so we got a few tweets and things like that. Kieran says, interesting observation. Approximately 6% of our revenue is from trade volume. Excluding SRV2, it's 12%. I don't understand that.
Basically, it's people trading alluvials, shards, everything else, which obviously is slowing down because obviously everyone's getting things and they're working everything out. But that's higher than expected, in my opinion. I thought a lot of it, obviously a lot will come from fuel, but basically if I'm buying from you or you're buying from me or any other players, that is the revenue is 12% without SRV2, which is massive.
Yeah, so it's really sweet to see. And here are some stats for you,
yes.
Sam.
Love this. So, I use this.
I
used some of this in a post, but yeah, these are really good stats.
So at the 40-hour mark, 32 ETH raw ETH sales, $100,000, 25.6 ETH in SRV2 burnt. So most of it was burnt in the 40-hour mark, not that much more since then, which is quite interesting. Fuel crates burnt 120 grand, which is quite interesting. 1.55 ETH from the royalty, which is pretty sweet. And $37,000 in Illuvium Zero credits, which I suspect is probably even higher now, but yes. So 350K total. Good. If we exclude SRV2, it doesn't look as good, but it's still pretty fantastic. So we love to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait for another week or two when he shares like all these other figures, which I'm not expecting phenomenal ones. I just want to know what's going on. Like IZ credits, I didn't think it would be anywhere near that. And that just goes to show you a small game like Alivium Zero on the mobile. People's spend per head is massive when there's only a small amount of resources going to that. I think they're going to double down or triple down on Illuvium Zero, to be honest with you. But, you know, everyone's got their jobs within the team already of what they're doing with Arena and credits. So I'm shocked. It's great. Really, I was really happy to see that, personally.
Yeah, Zilbrad in the chat says that he has a friend who wanted to try Gauntlet, only can use one hand, and left when he couldn't skip the tutorial. I will tell you, Zilbrad, okay? I know some people have commented in there being like, a tutorial isn't going to scare people off. They're not going to uninstall the game just because of a 30-minute tutorial. I have a word to say to you guys.
Oof.
You're wrong. You're wrong. People will uninstall a game if they can't skip a 30-minute tutorial. I know because I've done it many, many times. And you know what the biggest culprit of it is? Is Pokemon. Their tutorials, I know how to throw a Pokeball at a fucking Pokemon. It's not that hard. Don't make me play through 2 hours of really crappy dialogue to play the fucking game. There's nothing more frustrating. And I totally get it. And I don't understand why people are saying it's not a big deal. Because it is, in my opinion, it is a big deal. And I don't know if you agree with me, but I'm telling you right now, there are many people that will uninstall a game because of a tutorial. And I am one of, well, I don't do it that often, but I'm not a big story guy anyways, but I am one of those people.
But I think it's a lot of things as well. It's the onboarding, it's the IMX wallet, then this wallet, and then the client takes you out. It's all these little things that add up. Are they all super urgent? I wouldn't say they are right now, but when the team gets to it, they'll clean all this up and it'll be just a better experience. Compared to other Web3 games, whoosh, much better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's the interesting thing with Illuvium is people could say we don't like Illuvium all you want. It's still the most polished and the most complete Web3 game that exists right now. It just is. I don't know what to tell you. And like, imagine if it was free to play. It would be the biggest game right now.
Yeah.
But the fact that we don't want to go bankrupt makes us evil, I'm sure. But anyways.
Talk to me in 2 years when it's like close to the top 10 game in the world. Thanks.
Alrighty. So we got this one here. Whoops. Where this guy called Sam Withers has posted a video of Tiger Burrell. I don't know where you got this video from.
I was waiting for someone to ask me this. I'm just a legend. It's simple.
But I like it. I like how you can just jump off this cliff here.
How cool does that look? Imagine going into that region and just going, yup, soup ladders. Like, yeah, looks really cool.
I really like how blue it is too. There's nothing worse than like a tundra region in a game and it's like full white and you can't fucking see.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we start to wrap this one up?
No, we did it an hour. I think you're doing a really good job. You've come through the bear market. Illuvium, everyone needs to chill. It's been a week. Come on. Things are coming. Leave the team alone. You've invested in the team. Just give them time. They hear you. They see you, you know. So I am super confident. I love the numbers that are coming out. I think more numbers would always be better, but I think we're in a great position, and I look forward to the next sort of couple of months. Use the code Scoriox too.
We're in the position now where the team's wrapping up the bugs, and at this pace, they'll be done in like a week. And now we can focus on new features, enhancing gameplay, enhancing features, getting more regions out. I think that'll be really exciting. But there's a lot to be excited for. Whether or not that brings in new players, I have no idea. But I'm certainly excited for them as someone who enjoys playing the game and wants to play more of the game. And then there's things like new alluvials eventually as well. So
two things I want to add real quick. One is if the Illuvium marketing team need a hand, use me, to be honest with you. And two, I would love to see an alluvial combat video come out soon to get everyone really hyped up at the right time. Like put Illuvium combat in and I'll be super happy. I don't care about anyone else. The raiding and the combat, oh, love it. Anyways, do you want to do your sign-off feature as well, please? Can you do the download is complete? I really want to see that.
Oh, hold on. Gabriel, you can send it to me on Discord. You can add me. My username's just Scoriox. So here's a question. Do you think multiplayer and overworld combat come out at the same time, or do you think they come out separately?
This is what I would do. You have hype. It's a marketing aspect, right? What I would do is step one is when the time is right, I would bring out multiplayer for Sanctum Mesa only, right? Everyone's running around. They don't put it in the Obelisk or anything or the overworld. Just put it in Sanctum Mesa. That's step one. That's what I would do. And then let that hype die out after 2 weeks or so. And then say in 1 more week or 2 weeks or just dropping alluvial combat, then I would do the combat next. And then do the combat, let that die out for another month, and then introduce multiplayer and overall combat in the Obelisk regions. Because you got to hype things up. It has to be in sections. You don't bring everything out all at once. And I think we could do much better in the marketing department in that sense. But that's my opinion. What would you do?
I think the big concern for me is that I want to see multiplayer without a purpose. Now, I know people love just having a social hub. You do you. But I think that would be a big missed opportunity where you can do multiplayer where you just hang out in Sanctum Mesa, or you could take it one step further and you do like a hunting competition. It's like you jump into the overworld and there's 8 people that jump into it. I don't know what the game mode looks like, but like how hard could it be to make a game where it's like first person to find the rake and capture it wins. And they win some of the other people's fuel or something. I don't know. I don't know what the prize is, but like you build out something that's easy with our current infrastructure and you build that out and add it into the game. And that is exciting. I think if you can add that in with multiplayer, that would be sick. As for overworld combat, I just hope it's good. I think you have this issue where overworld combat, if you're like running around and there's like one ramfire and you just shoot him and he dies, it's not that hard. A ramfires and mega is really easy to dodge for a human player. You want to run into a batch of like 100 Karaduloks and have them all attack you. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's engaging. That's all.
For a person who played World of Warcraft for like 12 years, 16 hours a day for 5 years straight, and was in like one of the top guilds in World of Warcraft, I have a funny feeling that the overworld combat's going to be phenomenal. And it's really obvious of how I would do it, and I assume it would be very similar to how they would do it. So let's see.
See, that's my concern. I don't think we're thinking on the same level as them. Maybe we need to write like a game feature proposal that's just like, here's a suggestion.
Sure. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that they'll be all right on the right path. Like you got the different weapons, you'll have herds of different alluvials. You'll be able to put 1 or 2 alluvial out. You would think you don't want too much chaos. And then you'll also see like bigger, obviously certain alluvials will run away from you. Certain alluvials will attack you. Some will be harder than others. That's a balancing thing. But I find that I would struggle to find that the team that is building Illuvium to F this up, I'm pretty sure they'll get it really well. And if they don't get it well on the first launch, there'll be some slight tweaks either way. But imagine a massive ramp fire. It's not going to be easy to kill. It'll be super hard. It'll be fun.
See, now here's the best part, okay? You know how I was talking before about we don't have that user acquisition yet? We don't have that viral moment. Here's what the viral moment is you let people go into the overworld and it's a competitive thing with slightly improved chances of finding alluvials or whatever like that. Like maybe Ramfire has slightly higher odds because you're going into a PvP zone, right?
Yeah.
And like your alluvials get involved in this. So you might be walking past like an Archie and it's not doing any damage to you. You take it out. It's easy. But there's some dude on top of the cliff. He sent out 2 dual Fs and they both snipe you across the map. That is your viral moment. That's your moment that people are going, I want to play this fucking game. I want to try it. Yeah. That is the moment that draws them into the game. There's no question in my mind about that.
Could you imagine, say there's the PvP world, say you go to Sanctum Mesa, right? And there's only 100 players in your area, right? And you're all fighting for similar alluvials or whatever the number is. And there's alluvials that spawn in different areas. And then you see each other from the map and you've got your alluvial and it's a PvP area. So then I go and try and kill you so I can kill the Ramfire first. And then you try and kill me, or you're killing the Ramfire and then I come up behind you and kill you. And like just the amount of stuff they can do. I don't know what it costs to run a server with multiplayer, but as soon as multiplayer is in Sanctum Mesa, everyone will sort of get that taste of it and they'll want to show off holos by then. So that'll increase market expenditure. And I think that's a really smart economic move. But that's the game I want to play. All of these things intertwined. And then after that, I don't mind. I remember playing World of Warcraft for the first time and I was just like, this is amazing. And I know it's going to be the same feeling with Illuvium because it's real assets, you own them, and it's just taken to a whole nother level because it's a mix of different genres. So get me that game as soon as you can. I'll be traveling the world until that moment, and then I'll get it home.
I saw you selling your car.
Well, my car's sitting in a garage, and I'm like, I'll sell this for ILV tokens. I'm so invested in this project because it makes sense. Like other bull runs, I've seen tokens go up and down. I seem to nail it decently well. But I think now people are done with the crappy projects that don't bring in revenue. They want real products. So this is why I'm all in on Illuvium. And I can see that this could be a really big thing in 5 years' time.
Absolutely. And with that, I think we can say that the download is complete. Let's wrap it up here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys learned some more about Illuvium and the latest things happening in the game. Yeah, it's been a good time. We've got